Welcome back to the channel, everybody. My name is Z James, and this is Z32 Workshop. This channel is primarily focused on the platform for 300ZXs, Nissan cars in general, and stuff like that, stuff out of the 90s. Realistically, my convertible, so people know what was going on. But we're going to change it up here in a couple episodes, because I've been really neglecting making them for you. Not that I haven't done anything, because I kind of haven't, because life has done its thing again. And everyone who has a job and tries to make YouTube videos on top of it, realizes this is quite difficult sometimes. Right now, just to give you a quick update on the convertible, because it's not in the garage here, it's not over here, it's got a rear wheel bearing going out, so I had to buy a hydraulic press, which I've been neglecting to go do for quite some time, just borrowing people's that I know, my dad's, good friends. I just broke down and said, you know what? I don't need to be blowing an hour driving around doing that. I'll just spend the money and go get my own, which I did. It's over in the corner of the shop right now, or the garage. And I'm actually doing the Harbor Freight upgrades to a Harbor Freight hydraulic press. And if anyone who knows what those are, it means throwing casters on the bottom of it so it could wheel around, and putting a little knob on the top so it can release it easier without using the stick. And there's some other various little mods you do it to make it so it's a little bit more user-friendly. Anyway, that's not what this video is about. This video is going to be about introducing you guys to the new project in the garage, and it's something I bought for my son. So let's go here. Hopefully the audio can keep tracking with me. As you can see behind me, it's a Dodge Dakota. It's a 1992. I picked it up for my son. He is basically going to be a freshman next year and needs a vehicle to go to school. And I saw this on Facebook Marketplace and thought, I'll be damned, that is perfect for a high schooler. Being that it is only, first of all, it's an LE option, which means AC, power steering, tape deck radio, remember, this is 1992, everybody. And then carpeted and then a bench seat with the fold down. So it's actually pretty clean. Paint's faded, obviously it's a 92, and it was a farm truck. It's got a busted grill, which we'll have to fix. That's no big deal. And I got a foggy headlight over here. Not too bad. Other than that, the truck's in really decent shape. I test drove it. It's got a little bit of an exhaust leak. Bed is useful on that. But here's the kicker that's in this thing that I really liked. Is, as you can see, it is a 5-speed stick. So his buds can't necessarily steal it if they don't know how to drive stick. It's got a crack dash, so nothing too fancy, but the real piece de resistance in this truck that I really enjoy, and hopefully both mics here are picking me up, is, let me see if I can get this set up for you guys to see. Hang on. Drop you up, drop you down, lift the top here, and where are you at, you little sucker? Alright, you're open. Let's see here, and hopefully the audio catches me, it's a 4-cylinder. It is a 2.5 liter Chrysler Dodge 4-banger, which is awesome. The reason why this is super cool is it is a super simple engine, and things can get you. I mean, look. I can see the shop floor. I get my garage floor. Look at all this room for activities. It is great. The only thing that kind of stinks is this is not a cross-throw head. They exhaust and intake are on the same side. So it's not the best ideal, but this is like throttle body injection, super simple, single overhead cam. Yes, it is missing the timing covers on this. We'll try not to go find some so I don't catch a rock in there and mess it up. But you can see this is brand new for the timing, which that is awfully tight. I wonder if I don't know if he got that on there all the way. I'd like to see. The young gentleman I bought this from owned it for 3 years. He found it in a barn. I've been sitting for 5 with a snap camshaft. I've done an oil change on it. Wasn't running the best. So the big problem here is, and I know this is kind of a short video, and this is kind of just introduction to the project we're going to be having, is a simple fact that, well, hang on, let's make sure you can see me, guys. Let me make this a video that is completely raw and messy. The issue that is with this truck at the moment, love it. My son already taught him trying to drive it. Not a huge fan of stick. He's getting complicated with it. That's on me. I gotta get him to learn that because sticks are so much fun to drive. And the drive I picked this up was an hour and a half away from my house. Can you believe the gas mileage on this truck, even though it's 31 years old with an engine with 146,000 miles on it, 26.2 miles a gallon out of a 92 truck, 4-cylinder. They don't make things like this anymore. Everything's too heavy. It's too complicated for a simple basic truck. Like, they don't make stripper models like this anymore. It's crank windows, tape deck, guys, cloth bench seat. You know, this thing is beautiful for simplistic for a young kid to learn on. Or heck, I was like, man, I could drive this to work. This is fantastic. You know, because I did not pay a large sum of money for this. This thing was under 2K. But let's get to the real problem that I've got going on right now. First of all, there's some lights in the dash, which ends up being the ABS and brake light are on. When you check the brake fluid, it's high. Since this is a stripper model where it's got hardly any options except the LE, which is unheard of for a 4-cylinder 5-speed, is there's a speed sensor in the rear differential. It's basically ABS sensor, which I don't know why it needs. It doesn't have ABS, but it's throwing lights on the dash. Supposedly, it's a Hall effect sensor. Either you need to clean it up and put a new one in. Now, this being said, this is a Dodge from 92 with an engine and everything that's platform everywhere. The sensor is $10. It's beautiful. I looked up water pumps. They're $20. This is so much more cheaper than the BMW I used to own and the Nissan, which, by the way, I love the Nissan, just parts are expensive. And that's not even, that's expensive to me. To other people, that may not be expensive. Like, but this is the other end of the spectrum. This is dirt cheap. The other issue I got going on is a maintenance required light, which after doing some lengthy research on, the only way to get off is to hook up a computer to it to get it to go away, which I can't do for the simple fact that I don't have a computer that will talk to anything to what's in 92. It's a special plug. It's not worth it. So basically, the ECU, after so many miles or so many cranks, I can't remember which way, it basically says, hey, you need to do your timing belt, stuff like service manual stuff. So it's an idiot light. I'm going to remove the bulb and be done. So that's the two issues there. The exhaust, the previous owner said the catalytic converter got cut off from being stolen, which I wholeheartedly believe because that's a problem in my area because people are jerks to each other in that aspect. And so that's 1, 2. The exhaust is an issue. But the next problem I've got going on, and this I know I'm not showing it because I'm not going to run it right now, is a simple fact that I got a head gasket problem. It just showed up. I don't know if it had it beforehand. I don't know if that's the reason why the guy sold it and didn't tell me. I don't know. I got it cheap enough that I won't say I don't care, but it's one of those, like, it's a 31-year-old truck with a 4-cylinder. Head gaskets go in them. They're, like, known for it. Just like snapping camshafts, which the other guy had to deal with. You know what I mean? That's how he found it. That's how the farmer parked it with a snap camshaft. By the way, this is a non-interference engine, so if you bust a belt, put a new one on. Retime it, be done. It's beautiful in that aspect that nothing breaks in that area. So that's what this is. I would do more video of walking around, and I might after I get it running right. But I need to do a head gasket swap. And from what I've seen, this is the other part. Head bolts, head gaskets, all from Felpro stuff, $60, guys. You know what it is on a 300ZX? I mean, I spent that just on head bolts. Actually, I think I spent more than that for my APR studs. It's nuts for this stuff compared to this. I mean, between spark plugs, wires, a rotor cap. By the way, this is a rotor and cap still, so it's awesome. All that stuff. What else did I pick up? I mean, I'm less than $100 into parts of this thing at this moment. So it is beautiful in that aspect. And to do the head work, which I'm going to do in the next video, because I've got to get everything set up to do it. I mean, there are guys on the internet that don't look any more incompetent than me doing stuff, and they can say they can do the head gasket in roughly an hour or so. Probably a little longer in my opinion. But you leave all the exhaust on. You just get your cherry picker over there, you take everything off, you get the belt off for the timing belt, which is super simple. You get that out of the way, you take off the AC bracket, you undo the head valve covers, you undo the head bolts, you take your cherry picker, pick the head up. All you gotta do is get it up like 2 or 3 inches, pop the gasket out, make sure the surface is clean, and you put the new one on. I can't get any simpler than this. And then you drop it back down and you torque everything up to spec. I'm hoping it all goes as well as I've seen and everything else, because I'd love to get this back in the road within under the weekend. But I'm used to V8s, V6s, stuff where you got to pull an intake, a plenum. You got to do so much timing out of the way. But I've never really worked on 4 cylinders in my life, realistically. So this is beautiful, and the engine bay is so open. I mean, one last view, guys. Look at this engine bay. Yeah, I know it's cruddy, but look. I mean, steering rack open. I mean, open. Look at all this open. It's insane how much room is in here. Because this engine bay came with this 4-cylinder, a 3.9 liter V6, which is realistically just a Dodge 318 or 5.2 liter with 2 less cylinders. That's engineering for you guys back in the 80s and 90s. Or they got V8s. This thing came with a 318. And you could drop in very easily a 360 or 340 into these things. And guys, swap big blocks. So this engine bay is giant. For the project I'm going to be dealing with, it's perfect. And for my kid to learn on, new when this thing was done was only, and I kid you not, 100 horsepower. So the clutch is super soft. Everything's amazingly easy to work on, hopefully, as long as nothing's too rusty. So that's the new project I got to work on before I do my convertible. My kid needs a vehicle. Once again, life in its way, but I figured I'd make it because I don't think anyone's really showing any content on these old Dodges, Dakotas. I mean, there are, but no one's, I mean, they're all hopping them up. I'm like, does anyone just try to maintain and work on one of these? Because the videos I've been watching for timing belts and stuff has all been on the K-car platforms. You know, everything from Daytonas, Reliance, minivans, which they would actually need to know about because that's a transverse engine. This is spent the right way. The right way. Where it's easy to work on. In fact, this is Dodge's engineering. See this bracket right here? That is a front engine motor mount for when it's transverse. But they cheaped out and used the bracket and left it for even this application. It's insane, in my opinion, how this stuff works like that. It's the other beautiful part, and this is going to be because this video is getting long at 12 minutes 13, is the simple fact that the transmission, I don't know the name of it. I wish I did. Maybe we'll put it here or in the description. Is this engine and engine bay can swallow, I said V8s on stuff, but if you really want to go crazy, it takes all the Turbo 1 and Turbo 2 stuff from Chrysler back in the day, which means that bolts up. And in fact, it's the same bell housing bolt pattern for the SRT4 engine that's 250 horsepower will bolt into this thing. The weak link in it is actually the transmission. It can't handle a pile of torque, but if you went to 200 horsepower in this little lightweight truck, oh my God, it would be a blast, to be honest with you. And that's why I'm hoping my son will get into it and want to do something like that. But for us right now, we're just trying to get it on the road. So once again, this is just an introduction video for my new to us 92 Dodge Dakota. For the shop to do parts running, for my kids to go to school in and stuff like that. So, all right, guys, next video will be me trying to do the timing, or not timing, we'll be doing the head gasket and then also timing because the belt's going to come off and I'm going to redo it, which is, once again, compared to a 300ZX, super simple. I think there's things in a way, but it's nowhere near where I'm counting teeth and double checking, quadruple checking to get over all 4 cams, the belt tensioner, all the other stuff to get the crank pulley and all that other stuff. This stuff is much simpler as from what I have seen. So anyway, I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care. If you have any comments, likes, or subscribes, let me hit that up. Everything a little bit help counts. Every little bit counts or helps. You know what I meant. So all right, take care, everybody. See you in the next video. Bye.